All right, everybody. So how you doing?
I'm fine. It's been one of those crazy days.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I think it's all the rain.
I feel like it's the moon or something, but I don't know. I don't watch the moon. You're probably a gardener and watch all that, but it does feel like something's. I feel like Jupiter's in Aquarius or in
What planets are in conjunction?
Uranus or I don't know.
I have a T-shirt like that.
Oh, you do? Why am I not surprised, right?
Big soccer ball says this is my soccer ball in Uranus. Something like that. That's the kids bought it for me.
Yeah, the moon and stars are not in alignment.
I think it was all the rain last week.
Well, it could be because we did Bible school all last week. Remember, I think we were talking
Did you
about
have the ark?
And well, we were doing Daniel and the Lion's Den, but I did tell them that it should have been Noah's Ark because we really could have expounded on that. Because every time the kids looked, it goes, "Oh yeah, we could go outside." Then it was downpour.
I think we had like 8 inches of rain
It
through
is.
the week.
It's crazy.
And I think that's probably what has affected all of us.
It may have.
We
We're still
probably had
crazy or
some
something.
moss growing up our nose. It's filtering strangely up there.
Well, last week one of her tasks was she was supposed to make her an emoji so that she could use, which she's working on that, so that's not too bad. And then the other thing is we were going to work on your texting language. So I had been sending her things, and then of course she'll send it to me back. And she's like, "I'm just making up my own." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Well, I'm making up my own too, but I'm trying to figure hers out." So, and sometimes I'm like, "Oh, okay, I got it." And see, the one you sent me the other day, I'm not sure yet if I've still gotten it, but it's okay. It's, let me see what it was, and let me see if I can get it. But yeah, so she's sending me things, and I can tell some days she doesn't understand what I'm saying.
Oh no, I'm like, this whole sentence doesn't make sense for me, but that's okay.
Because like I sent her other day, I sent her, let's see, how did I send it? Okay, this was right after we had done ours, and I put SSD.
Oh yeah.
And she said, "Hooray, GYLI." And I was like, "Okay." And anyway, but I don't
Good
think
good with me, good with you.
Is that what GWM is good with me?
Good with me.
But GYLI was like, "Glad you liked it," I think. But I don't think she still understand what SSD was. And
no, you had to tell me.
So delicious. I even put it right behind. Because I put SSD, so delicious, and I was like, I should have put a wink. So maybe it would have given a clue. But so then last night I get one that says, yeah, that was the one. I was like, GWM, and I was like, GWM, what the heck?
Good with me.
And I was like, okay, because I was trying to like think about the way she says things, and I was like, okay, GWM. I gotta think. I just put She goes, "I'm making up my own." I'm like, "Well, I am too."
And I was waiting.
So I was like, "So am I." But yeah, because I put SYT. Did you even? She just put. I think she put, and I put a smiley face, and she just put GWM. So, do you even know what SYT was?
You too?
See you then.
Oh, yes, I did get that.
Okay,
I did get that. I was like, oh yes, yeah. For your information, that's pretty easy. Do you ever watch the movie with Tango and Cash?
And we did. Yes, I have watched that.
Now that one I get. Fubar. I understood that one.
And see that one.
Of course, it was in the movie so much you had to know was.
I have to think about that one because I don't know if I remember that one.
Oh, it's not nice, but it's funny.
Okay.
Yes, we used to have a couple at school. Doc Isles would cross the hall, and I told you about her before. She was a very intelligent woman. She had her PhD in biology. She did her studies on whale sperm to get her PhD. I don't know anything about it, but that's what you wanted something funny. That's funny.
It is funny.
Just think about all the ramifications. collection. What best?
Well, I hadn't even got that far yet. I'm still thinking about how do you write your PhD on this subject? Because I mean, I'm like, how many people really care? I mean, that there's so much
About as many
information out
people who care probably about shrimp running on a treadmill. You know what I mean?
there. Okay, so yeah, so now okay, back to
Okay, so she was.
you got collection,
Yes.
you've got storage, you've got
What are you gonna do with them? I mean, really,
I mean, my thing is how do you collect it?
don't ask me. You got to be in the water, I would assume.
Do you
Is
need a
is it,
scuba? Do you need a scuba outfit?
They do have milking machines for cows, so maybe they do something like that. I have no idea. But we'll just say your mind just wandered.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
So
kind
at
of a
least
funny
you've gotten
topic.
it off of.
Yeah, so you can just
Okay.
have
Yeah.
all kinds of funny visuals on it.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted something funny, well, that's
Okay.
kind of funny.
It is kind of funny.
Anyway, she was a very intelligent woman. She was very private, and we became good friends. And she didn't have a lot of good friends. She was more reserved, great with the kids. Oh my gosh, intelligent, and she would do all kinds of DNA studies with them. And we had our own little code for certain things. She had her personality, and we had CFs. And I'll tell you what those are later.
Okay.
Okay. So she would say that, and you'd be surprised. I'm like, oh, really, Doc? But she was, like I said, very private, nice, intelligent woman. Wrote grants to have things done for her students, and would never really fraternize with a lot of the teachers because she was all, businesslike. And I did mention this, I believe, once before, but it's a funny story because there's the earth science people, and we're very earthy. I mean, we're right down to that dirt, the regolith is there. And we had what's called a stream table, and it was probably a little bit longer, or about as long as this table. And a stream table, you set the apparatus up, and it has a tray, a long tray, and you can tilt it, and you can put sand on it, and you run water, so it shows students how the water drains out and the rivers flow, and you can put objects in so they float around it. Anyway, we didn't have that on it. And there she is, very prim and proper, and really valued her class time. And so the other two earth science teachers, one was earth science physics, and we decided that we would interrupt her class of anatomy and physiology, advanced studies. So they laid me down on the table and they put a white cloth over me, wheeled me into her classroom, and she's like, you could almost see the steam coming out, but then she looked at us and she's like, almost trying not to, did you need a cadaver? I'm laying there just, it's hard because you have to have levity when you teach. Otherwise, it can be really a long day. So she got to be a good friend. And when we moved down here, she took me out to dinner. She sent past because she had problems with her pancreas all the time, and I think she ended up with pancreatic cancer. But she was funny, and she and I would get together, and then we had an asbestos issue in the school. And this place is probably, well, I don't know. It may not have too much asbestos, but all of it is contained, and sealed up. But you don't have the brightest bulbs. As my girl, mesothelioma. You got asbestosis? Is that something like bad breath? No. But there was, so I went in the faculty room one day and I looked and they had the ceiling, it was a hung ceiling. I mean, this is all nice plaster, so I mean, we're pretty safe here, I think. Anyway, they had one ceiling tile out and they had all this gray manners sitting on the table. I'm looking at them like, what are they doing? Oh, I don't know. They're doing something up in the ceiling. Is that asbestos sitting on our table where we eat our lunch? It
No,
was.
no.
It was. It was. And between most science classes you have was the prep room. So you can go in there and you can prepare all your labs and stuff. And between the biology, which was Doc Isles' room, and the other chemistry room, there was a prep room. And they had tiles out all the time. It had never been replaced.
So they were constantly
Yes,
exposed
yes. And I mean, you can think about it seriously because we had several teachers with cancer. Several.
Well, I think it would have been fun because I loved my science classes and I would have loved to have had teachers like y'all, but I don't remember our lab classes being like that and having, classes. I mean, I just don't remember it being as active. I do remember dissecting the frog and I do remember, there was maybe a few fun things that we did, but nothing the way it made it sound like y'all did things. I think that would be so fun to be an interactive class.
You had to have it fun. You know what's really fun is if you can teach a class and pretend it's like an ad on TV. But that's a lot of work, trying to sell an object. And you can do that. I did like a 5-minute one on rocks one time. But it's hard because
Well, just learning the periodic table is hard.
Oh, yes.
That's not.
There's so many new elements.
Well, hey, there's new genders.
Ooh.
I mean, supposedly there's like.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, I heard something the other day, that somebody was talking about that, and they were being asked by Congress, and they were like, oh, there's, like thousands or something. And I'm like, really? Really? Is there really? Is there really?
I don't think so.
It's now that, yeah, I just can't imagine how there is, but let's just see what they say.
Genetically speaking.
How many genders are there in 2023? Now, 2024, we can have some more.
We're going to have to change the whole way we talk. We're just going to have to put them into letters. Everything is in letters.
I was thinking that they had said there was like 107, but the way I heard this lady the other day explain it, she was like there were more than that, and they were still coming up with some, but I don't even know how you get to 107. All right, this one says, this is from sexualdiversity.org, which I'm not saying they're right, but they're saying that the term gender identity was coined by psychiatry professor Robert J. Stoller. Well, no, not really. It was back, and then that was supposed to have been in 1964, but we've been knowing about people's gender for long before then. But let's see, what does it say? It says that there's, I think it said it was 107 of them.
There it is right there.
Yep, 107 genders. A binary, a gender, ambigender, androgyne, androgynous, androgynous. I think this is Spanish. Aperogender, audigender, backward, bigender, binary, bisu, butch. Well, butch is not a gender.
I don't know. I live next door to a butch. That was his name. I'm sorry.
Calibi, calalai, cisgender, cisfemale, cismale, cisman, ciswoman. So why would ciswoman and cisfemale be two different genders?
Now, are they telling you what these are? These like the definitions?
I don't know. Let's see what it. Oh, it's Nabisu is pre-Islamic for Bujis or Budges, and it's Bisu were seen as intermediaries between the people and the gods. So maybe I don't know.
Okay,
I don't.
so what they've mixed in there are people who think they're gods?
I don't know. This one has only 72. It says gender is no more regarded as binary concept, where one can either be a male or female. It has emerged as a continuum or spectrum where one can identify themselves as many as gender's identity. So it's a continuum now. Your
You're on the continuum?
your gender is.
Will you continue?
See, now this is hilarious. This is one of those things that this is just hilarious because I don't know how your gender continues to change. I mean, mine has not changed,
Mine hasn't.
and over the years, it has not changed. In fact, everything they taught me in sex ed class in sixth grade is happened. I mean, you've gotten older, things change. You get, as you're becoming
I still stuck.
I mean, I just don't understand. If there's what they're saying the continuum is, then it continuum. I don't understand.
Well,
I don't want to get into their brains.
That one that you just read, I mean, it sounded like a person will think that they are
But
a
that's
divinity.
not a gender.
Oh, no, okay, so how about that one woman who was on America's Got Talent, who thought she was a fairy? That would be a gender.
That's not a gender.
Well, no,
Fairy is
but
not
then-
a gender. Fairy would be a race, I guess. I mean,
I don't know, she had the pointy ears and everything.
I mean, why no?
She had the whole thing.
But I mean, that's
I wonder
not. What about the ones that think they're a cat? That's not a gender. Gender is your male or female, correct?
That's what I would think. Did they have vampire on there? The V?
Well, let's just see if vampires
Because that
are
would
on
be kind of
this.
interesting.
Because this is supposed to be 72 of them. Okay, this is agender. Let's start with, let's just see. Agender, A person who does not identify themselves with or experience any gender.
A gender.
I don't know how you don't experience any gender because you got something there that told you.
So you're neutral.
How are you neutral? I mean, how are you neutral?
Well, it depends on the day.
No.
Do they have fuzzies on there? Because some people think they're identify with animals.
Let's see what my V's hold. Because, no. I'm sorry. There's a demifluid having multiple genders. Some fluid while others are static. Oh my goodness.
I'm glad I'm not teaching school.
Not
Because you could have, if you had like 100 students in a day that you saw in your classes, and they have 100 different genders, how do you address them?
because it's fluid and it's continually changing, so it might be this. So this. Now this is demiflux. Now I know what reflux is, but then demiflux is a combination of multiple genders with some genders static, whereas others are fluctuating in intensity. See, we used to call it schizophrenic.
Multiple personalities.
I mean, existogender. The person's gender identity exists only when they make conscious efforts to realize it. Again, schizophrenic. I'm sorry. I know you people out there that are thinking, you can go ahead and think it. I am not politically correct. And I am not, because there are people out there that have serious mental illnesses.
This is how they're covering it.
But, no. No.
I want a fuzzies. Are there any fuzzies in there?
Fuzzy. No fuzzy.
No fuzzy.
Fluid flux. I'm a fluid flux. I'm not, but I'm just saying it needs to be fluid between two or more genders with a fluctuation in intensity of those genders.
So you're extreme sometimes of either side.
Gender blank. It is closely related to blank space. But why is that not the same thing as abigender or whatever the ones that did not
Agender.
agender, that did not think that gender existed. So I
So
mean,
they're blank genders. Okay.
so now let's go down to, I'm trying to see, it's just gender witched. The person is inclined towards the notion of having one gender but does not know which. But they say it's WITCHED. But when you go into the definition, the person is inclined towards the notion of having one gender
But
but just
sure.
not sure which is WHIC. That looks like gender witched should be gender WICH. In other words, Sugar,
I'm confused.
you need help.
I'm confused right there.
Girl flux, the individual identifies themselves as a female, but with varying intensities of female identities. Well, that's a teenage girl. I mean, because a teenage girl has got so many different. I mean, she can be so hormonal. We used to call it hormonal. now you're girl flux. Okay, so mirror gender. Oh, just take a guess at what mirror gender is.
Whatever you think you are in the mirror.
It's close.
I don't know.
It is changing one's gender type based on the people surrounding you. I'm safe in this room because you're me.
Yeah, that's right. So Ash, we think alike, so we're like.
I'm sorry. Omnigender is having or experiencing all genders. That's number 72.
That one is going to be really tough because you've got 72 different genders there.
A gender puck. Gender, P-U-C-K. The person resists to fit in societal norms concerning genders. Well, to me, any of you on this 72 list are refusing. So all of you are gender pucks. Because you refuse.
You guys watch how you say that.
You refuse to accept society's genders. I mean, when you used to go fill out a form, it was male, female.
Yes.
No. And I'm telling you, people, when they dig your body up and do DNA, you're not going to be a gender puck.
There's nothing in that code that does that.
No, there's no.
It might say you're a little bit lucky.
And this is going to, well, they're going to gender fuzz. I wonder if that's your fuzz.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's.
Gender fuzz is more than one gender is blurred together.
Oh, no, it's not the fuzzies. I'm sorry, it's not the fuzzies and the furries.
I'm sorry, no.
We still haven't found vampire.
No, vampire was not one of 72.
Oh.
No,
But it should be.
No, but vampire is not a gender. Vampire would be a race. When Kirk goes to these other planets, Klingon is a race, not a gender.
This is true. But I always want to see if they had something out there. Are you a vampire?
And there's vampires. They only have two.
Male?
They have a vampire and a vampiress, right?
Yes.
Or vampiress.
Whatever.
Yes. But ghosts are just ghosts. There's not a female ghost or a male ghost. You're just a ghost. I'm sorry. See, I would not make a good biology teacher right now because, see, I'd be like, Sugar, we're going to put up.
We'd be in a lot of trouble. I would be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, because I would not be teaching too.
So, those torsos that we had years ago that I put all the parts on, male and female, I wasn't wrong.
Well, now I guess you can just move. They'd have to be movable.
They were. You could move them around, I guess.
And I mean, because, that's why when you, I just don't even know. My question would be, Sugar, I'd be like, okay, you want to go to the bathroom. Which one are you going to? I don't know how you would say it. I don't know how you do it.
I would get in a lot of trouble because we had.
I'm probably going to get in trouble for this one.
We
Just
had
say it on
a pink
Facebook.
potty and our friend had a little pink toilet, my friend had a little blue toilet, and you get to pick which one you wanted to go to.
Oh, nowadays you would be under the
So they
jail
have
for
to
that.
take both.
Well, nowadays you wouldn't be able to do pink or blue because that would be, you'd be stereotyping, and that's not right because there are some guys that would want it's,
My mind is just thinking about all the different ramifications of what this.
you're confusing the children, people.
It's confusing.
Stop confusing the
It
kids.
confuses a lot of other stuff that could be really serious.
Yes, but stop confusing the kids. 2 and 3-year-olds don't need all this in their minds. They don't need it at 4 and 5.
And there was one thing
Stop
there
confusing them.
that you saw. When did the child start understand that? When should they understand that?
Let's see. This is age 2 and 3.
At what age does a child understand gender identity?
Age 2 and 3, children know the difference between a boy and a girl at this age. They may start to see themselves as either a girl or a boy. I agree with that. And age 4 and 5, at this age, your child understands their gender identity. No, they don't. I don't think they understand gender identity at that point. They still understand that I'm a boy, you're a girl. Because they don't need to be sexualized at this point. Do you not agree? There's too many other things.
I'm just thinking.
There's too much innocence lost.
At 4 and 5, they should be just playing games.
They should be.
Oh, do you want to be Superman today, or whatever?
Yes.
And running around having fun and not worried about, are you going to be a boy today, or are you going to be a little girl today? We would have had a real hard time in our neighborhood because we were surrounded by boys. So guess what? You get to play whatever the boys want. Otherwise, you have no playmates.
Well, I think this one has been funny, but because
It's funny sad. I'm sorry. It's funny sad. Because our children and grandchildren have to grow up and do this world like this.
They do, but at least ours will know who they are.
Yes, they will.
And so they'll be able to tell yours in case they get mixed up or think they're Timophilids or gender pups or
Or
hockey pups or maybe.
I want to be a watermelon today.
Well, there you go. Timothy one.
I'm going to go sit out in the garden.
Get your seats on. We'll see you later.